What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emmanuel. I post content about fashion and anything self-improvement. So to start this video off, let's start by defining what mind-maxing is. Mind-maxing is the practice of maximizing one's mental strength, focus, and emotional resilience to become the best version of oneself, mentally and emotionally. In simple terms, is building substance from inside out. One of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started out my self-improvement journey is I focused a little bit too much on looksmaxxing, or more of like the exterior things like hitting the gym. One of the first things that I did was change up my style. I started working on my wardrobe, right? I improved my wardrobe like significantly, you know what I'm saying? I changed my style from wearing like streetwear stuff to dressing up in suits and pretty much just more of a refined look. I was able to draw so much attention from people and women. When it came to actually retaining them and actually keeping them, I was having difficulties. We live in a society where everything is superficial. People is more concerned about how everything looks. People are concerned about the aesthetic. The aesthetic nowadays is everything. Although something could look good, that doesn't mean it's actually good, you know? So when it came to interacting with people, I really realized that like, yeah, I changed up my style. I could dress better, I could draw attention, but I lack substance on the inside. One of the biggest pivotal points for me was, I remember posting this video online of like just one of my regular videos that I post on Instagram of me just showing off my outfit, something like that. And I remember a guy commenting something along the lines of, the suit doesn't make the man makes the suit. And I remember it triggered me so much. And I was just wondering like, why was this triggering me? And what I realized was the guy was just 100% right. I gained my confidence from my outfit. Like I gained a sense of self from how I looked versus having a strong sense of self and letting everything else add to it. This is why it's extremely important that when you go on your self-improvement journey, you start from the inside out and not from the outside in. And this is what everyone does. Like this past year, Looksmaxxing has been the big fad, the most popular thing. Everybody's working on their looks. Everyone's working on their physique, right? The reason I wanted to make this video is because I realized everyone was working on their aesthetic and how they look, but no one was actually working on their mind. No one's working on the inside. I have 5 core concepts for mind-maxing, right? 5 core concepts. And the order that I'm gonna go in is the order that you should really try to achieve it. Like this is the order that you should try to do it in. Pay attention, take notes. I promise you, you're gonna gain a lot from this video. The very first thing on the list is spiritual foundation. We all answer to someone. We all follow someone. Every man needs something that is greater than himself in his life in order to kind of help him maneuver throughout life. And I think it's extremely important to have a spiritual foundation. Whereas for me, my spiritual foundation comes from God, Jesus Christ, right? So once you have a spiritual foundation, everything that it is that you do has to align from that. Almost like having a framework or a guide through life. Everyone talks about being a leader. While being a leader is important, what's more important than being a leader is being led. Because you cannot lead if you've never been led. I allow God to govern my life. And from having that solid foundation, I have something that I actually stand for. I know you guys have heard the saying, if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. When you lack spiritual foundation, it's like life is more of you kind of go throughout life YOLO. Like you don't really have any real morals, no real values, nothing that you stand for. And then you can maneuver throughout your life based on those values and principles that you've obtained from that foundation. The second thing that I have on this list is self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Self-awareness is extremely important. This is when you really sit down and you do deep dives and you find out who you actually are. This is why you have to do this after you solidified yourself in a higher power. And once you know who you believe in, then you can see who you are in him. Me personally, the world does not define me. People in this world, whatever people say, does not define me. God defines me. God is the only person that has a say-so on who I am because my foundation is in him. So when it comes to self-awareness, you have to be self-aware to know who you are, What are your triggers? What are the things that you don't like? What is it that you stand for? What do you want out of this life? Having self-awareness is the ability to be able to look at yourself in the mirror, is to know where you are, where you're going, and what you need to do to get there. There's no room for growth without self-awareness, right? And secondly, emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence is another extremely key aspect to your life. I find this extremely important when dealing with women, when dealing in business, honestly with interacting with people. Luckily for me, I have literally nothing but sisters, and being around them, it has allowed me to obtain a high sense of emotional intelligence. Able to control my emotions. People don't depict my moods. Like, I'm the only person that has control of that stuff. One of the best ways that you could increase your sense of self, as far as your self-awareness and your emotional intelligence, is by spending a whole bunch of time with yourself. Spending a whole bunch of time with yourself. A lot of guys have this issue that they always have to be with someone, meaning like they got to be with the guys, or they got to always have a woman around. Look, guys like that, they have no sense of self. They don't know who they are. They define themselves based on what they're doing. They define themselves based on their job. They define their stuff based on what they have in their wallets, based on the amount of women they smash. That is not having self-awareness. That is not having emotional intelligence. That is not having any sense of self. You have to spend time alone to discover who you are, to know who you are, to sit in silence with yourself, to be able to go out on a date by yourself, to be able to get up, go to a bar, sit down by yourself and interact with different people, but not having to always have someone attached to you. This is how you could increase your self-awareness and emotional intelligence. I have a really good book that I've been reading, and it is called Understanding the Purpose and Power of Men by Dr. Miles Monroe. This is one of the best books I've ever read. Like, I'm like on the very last chapter. I'll probably be done with the book today. Very good book right here. This book right here will really allow you to understand who you are, but most importantly, understand who you are in Christ. This book is amazing. I'll have it linked down below in my Amazon store. You could grab it if you need it. The third core concept that you need to focus on is goal setting and discipline. I have to constantly remind you that this is in this particular order for a reason. You find who you believe in, right? You obtain some emotional intelligence and self-awareness. Now that you know who you are, and now that you know whose you are, right? Now you can set goals and you can discipline yourself. Why does this come after these two? Because if you don't know who you are, you won't be able to create no goals that align with your purpose and who you are. You get what I'm saying? That's why this comes now. As a man, one of the most important things in your life is your purpose and vision. You having a sense of purpose and being able to add vision, bring things to life, right? And again, that book will tell you everything that you need to know about purpose and vision. Once you know your purpose and once you have a vision for your life, then you could set tangible goals. You could discipline yourself based on what goals that you have set for yourself. Like, one of the things that's worked wonders for me in my life is I set long-term goals and I set short-term goals. Although that I set those goals, I'm not too keen on a certain target. The main thing that I'm focused on is progress, right? And what I typically do is I set 30-day goals at a time, 30-day increments. Every 30 days, I probably have a new set of goals. And even if I didn't achieve everything that I wanted to achieve within those 30 days, I added to the current month. If I missed it the past month, I added to the current month and I just build on top of that. You don't need to be drawing out these long, unrealistic goals. Well, I'm not gonna say unrealistic goals, but you don't wanna draw goals that are too far. Like, it's good to have long-term goals, but the small increment every 30 days, those are kind of like the building blocks to get to the bigger long-term goals. For example, if your goal was to make 6 figures, well, you can't just wake up and make 6 figures. First, you got to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to increase your income. So that's what you would, getting a job and trying to get a raise is what you would try to do within the 30-day span. I have a really different perspective on discipline because, and I got this from Eric Thomas, once you know what it is that you want, once you know what it is that you want to achieve in this life, it should not be hard for you to discipline yourself. Every day should be choices. Does this align with my goals and who I am? Yes or no? If it doesn't, then you don't do it. One of the biggest things when it comes to discipline that you could learn is do not attach your emotions to them. A lot of people, they attach their emotions to them. They attach how they feel, something that happened the day before. Me, I try my hardest that as far as me disciplining myself, I try so hard to almost be like a bot. Stoicism is key when it comes to being disciplined. I'm not saying be emotionless, because there's a lot of guys on here that will tell you to be emotionless. I'm not telling you to be emotionless. It's okay to feel, but at the same time, keep your goals in mind and keep that how you feel doesn't necessarily care about your goals. You know what I'm saying? Or your goals doesn't care about how you feel. That's just the truth of the matter. Your goals does not care about how you feel. So detach the two. Those are two different things. They don't belong. They don't coexist. They don't belong at all. Fourth thing, right? And this kind of goes in tangent with the goal setting. Physical health. Once you found your foundation, once you know who you are, once you've set some goals, and one of those goals should be a physical goal. This is what every guy does first. They work on their muscles. And this is what I did. Like, I improved my style and I started working out. This is what I did. That stuff is good, but it only gives you a temporary level of satisfaction, a temporary level of confidence when you do it out of order. Meaning you have no sense of self, you have no sense of foundation, and you like this big old swole dude, but you can't keep a conversation. You don't know much. You don't stand for nothing. You're just this big old swole dude that's willing to do anything that someone throws at him. The reason why physical health is important, because a lot of people say, when you look good, you feel good. So physical health is very important, that as a man that you work out, you know what I'm saying? That you work on your physique. You try to almost look like a Greek god if you want, but not literally, but we all have our own fitness goals, whatever you want to achieve. At the end of the day, just don't be fat. Physical health is very important because it also helps you with mental clarity. You know what I'm saying? When you work out, for some reason, when you work out, and some of you guys will be able to relate to this, but when you work out, it's like everything that's going on in your mind kind of like clears out, all the fog. Like me personally, anytime I'm having trouble thinking, anytime I'm having trouble like brainstorming, I just go work out. It's something about sweating that just gets me in this mind that is just a clearer state of mind. So make it your mission. Make it your mission to hit the gym. You gotta hit the gym. You gotta hit the gym. That's gotta be one of the things that you do. Last on this list is daily learning and improving your skills, right? So as a man, you want to forever be evolving. You don't ever want to remain comfortable. You don't never want to remain in the same place that you were. So daily learning, so working on your skills, you know what I'm saying? If you are a trainer, you should be hitting the gym. If you are in IT, you should be working on coding and making sure you're improving your skills. Or reading. Reading is extremely important. Me, I have so many books with me. Like, I could show you guys just books that, like, I would show you guys my whole library. Like, I have books everywhere. I used to read a book a month. I stopped doing that only because a lot of times I wasn't retaining a lot of the knowledge, so I slowed down a little bit. But reading is extremely important. Why? Because it keeps your mind in a constant flow of learning. You're inviting new information, and it's perfect when it comes to interacting with people. Because you've been reading, you've learned so much, your vocabulary is better, and you're able to hold conversations a lot longer because you know a little bit about everything. The goal for you as a man is to be a Renaissance man. You just want to be a man that knows a little bit about everything. And how do you do that? By constantly reading, by constantly learning, staying up to date with what's going on with the world around you, and just improving your skills. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always working on videos. I'm always learning how to edit. I'm always doing something that's getting me better at the tangible skills that I have. You cannot be stagnant. No one wants a man that is the same person that he was in high school 10 years later. You want to evolve. That should be your goal as a man. And those are those 5 things. So number 1, spiritual foundation. Number 2, self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Number 3 is goal setting and discipline. Number 4 is physical health. And number 5 is constant evolving, daily learning, and improving your skills. These are the 5 core concepts that you want to put most of your emphasis on when it comes to your self-improvement journey. Do not worry about all this Looksmaxxing stuff. They tell you to do all this stuff with your jaw and do that. You could be the most handsome man in the world and still be stupid, still have no backbone, and still not be able to hold no type of conversation. That's why one of the biggest issues that we're having today in the world with men is there's an influx of incels. because a lot of guys are staying behind the camera and they're mouth chewing and whatever, getting all this gum and doing all this stuff. I'm not saying don't work on your looks, but I'm telling you that your looks will only take you so far. And this is coming from a guy that, I'm gonna just be completely honest with you guys, I've always been somewhat attractive to women, to people. Like, I've never been a weirdo. There's never been a time in my life where I was a weirdo, where I didn't have friends, where I didn't know how to interact with people. So I've always was in the mix. I've always been like that. But as I started getting older and I started getting around wiser people and I started interacting with different women, women with degrees, master's degrees, women that are of substance, things like that, the looks are only gonna take you so far. That suit only gonna look as good. Like, you look nice in the suit, but when you open your mouth, you because you don't know nothing. Or people challenge your values and your viewpoints and you automatically cave. You don't even defend yourself because you stand for nothing, because you don't have a higher power that you look to. You don't have no sense of morale. You don't have nothing that allows you to govern your life. You just go with the flows of life. As a man, you need to have standards. You need to have a concrete plan. You need to have a concrete thing that you stand for. Your life should be yes and no. It shouldn't be you just waving with the wind. You focus so much on Looksmaxxing, but you're not gaining anything on the inside. Start from the inside out. Even the Bible says God looks at your heart. So God ain't looking out about how handsome you are, how much money you got, or how lit you are, or nothing. He looking at your heart. He's trying to see who are you, like who you are. Focus on that first. Make that what you do first. Focus on that first. And then you can worry about Looksmaxxing and doing all this other stuff. I'm not saying don't work on your physical appearance. I'm saying it's only gonna take you so far. So work on yourself, find out who you are, or find out whose you are, and I promise you, you won't regret it.